Join me right now from Canada is the newest member of One Championship's flyweight roster, Gary Mangat. What's going on, Gary?
Nothing much, man. I'm actually not in Canada. I'm actually in Las Vegas.
Oh, really? What are you doing in
Yeah,
Las Vegas?
I've been doing my camp out here, man. I've been out here for the past 3 weeks. I came to try it out. My teammate Jeremy Kennedy has been out here doing a couple camps, and I wanted to go to a place where I could just focus on my craft and kind of just get back to my passion without any other things kind of going on around me. Back home in Vancouver, I have a lot of projects and stuff I'm involved with, so I had to really kind of let those things go and let my wife kind of take care of it. And I came out to Vegas and fell in love with the training here. It's absolute like madness. Like I got training in 45 minutes again, and it's just crazy curriculum. And you know what kind of guys are out here in Vegas. So this is a place for me to be. I'm just isolated by myself, and yeah, just working, man.
Who are you working with out there? What gyms are you training at?
I'm training at Extreme Couture. I'm training with a lot of the UFC guys out of there, so we have access to a lot of the other facilities and stuff. And yeah, just all around, there's a lot of guys here, man. A lot of talent. It's totally different than back home. Just stuff happening all the time. If you miss one session, you can make it up in like three other gyms. Like it's just so much happening here. You're just constantly running, going. Like on Mondays, I'll get 3 sessions in before 3 p.m. I'll start at 8 and I'll get 3 in before 3 o'clock. And it's a lot of work, man. But it's all gonna pay off. So it's because I was preparing for this. That's why. So
Well, you said you're in camp, so that means you have a fight set up already. Can you talk about that fight? Do you know when you're going to debut?
I do know when I'm gonna debut, but I'm not allowed to say it yet. That's only because one has asked me not to because they wanted to do it first. The fight is signed from my end. I actually haven't heard from my opponent's end, but I do have my opponent. All I can say about my opponent right now is it's not an easy debut fight. This is a completely different level now. This guy has fought one of the current champions of one, and two of the past champions of one. So he's fought three of the top three. Like he's fought three of his, yeah. So he's fought the who's who's, and that's who they're giving me right off the bat. And he was a bantamweight, and he's coming down to flyweight. So yeah.
Hint, hint, huh? Hint, hint.
And so I try to pull up the roster, see who's in the weight classes, see if they can all connect. But I think they're going to be announcing it pretty much this week. I was allowed to go ahead and announce my contract, and so I got to do at least that part. And now it's actually pretty soon, so I can tell you the fight's quicker than everybody thinks. So yeah, it's going to be coming up quick here.
Let's go into the contract that you signed with One. Has this contract always been in the works? Because you haven't fought in almost a year.
Basically, how this came to be was, yeah. So I came back from SFL. I did those 3 fights. Just kind of chilled it. Then I went down to Washington to go train with Mighty Mouse, and Demetrius was still with the UFC at the time, and after sparring and stuff like that, Matt just sat me down. He's like, listen, man, like, you should come over to One. He's like, you should come over. And I'm like, and now I was more so thinking about it more and more. Before I was really kind of against it because I always had the dream of always fighting in the UFC. But if you follow MMA, you see the landscape is just changing like crazy right now, right? So what the UFC was in the past is not what the UFC is now. If you're someone that follows the sport, you know the ever-changing landscape of it. And also I was hearing about the rumors of the flyweights, them getting rid of that weight class and all these kind of things. So I knew I had to make some strategic moves and not kind of keep waiting out for, like, the one promotion that I always wanted to fight for, but kind of open my mind to the idea that, listen, you can go to another place, become just as big of a name, get paid just as well, if not better, and fight some of the top guys. And as we've seen in the past 3 months with all their announcements, that's exactly what's going on now, is that they're signing some big talents with the Flyweight Grand Prix is about to happen, Lightweight Grand Prix, their TV deals here in North America. They're going to do actually a North American tour here to DJ Eddie Alvarez State Northcutt. They're actually going to do open workout at Extreme here on February 28th. And yeah, just promoting it here, plus it's already huge in Asia. So I'm super excited about it. I've never been to a ONE FC show yet. I haven't been to a One show yet. The first one will be my fight, and after that, I'll probably head to the Japan card because Viviano's fighting on the Japan card. So yeah, so excited about it, man. The more and more I think about it, the more I've taken it in, the more I've thought about it. I knew this was a perfect move, especially from November onwards, when all that craziness was happening before the New Year's. When all of a sudden Demetrius is over at 1 now. At that time, when this whole, I actually sat down with him. I'm like, I asked him for some advice. I'm like, listen, what do you think? Should I hold out? He's like, dude, I'm telling you, 1 will take care of you. These guys, like, they take care of their fighters. They respect their fighters. If the opportunity's on the table, really think it out and take it in. Him and Viviano were kind of deciding factors for me. And then all of a sudden, after the Henry Cejudo fight, 1 month later, 2 months later, DJ's over there too. And so we're all of us are over there now, and everybody seems to be happy. So it's crazy, man. It's cool that like these guys are my idols, my mentor, Viviano. We're all in one promotion now. It's I've hit the pinnacle that I wanted to hit when I first started this. It might not be the UFC, but I think I think it's actually better now. I think what's going to happen with 1 this year is people are going to see it for what it is.
It seems like your career is basically kickstarting now. Do you feel that it is kickstarting now, and do you feel like you're in the prime of your career and this is the time? If it's not now, it's never.
Yeah, you're totally right. I'll be honest with you. After the past year, I was pretty burnt out from MMA. I was burnt out because I was juggling so much things. It wasn't MMA. It was I got myself involved with a lot of other things, and it's not bad things. It was like a lot of work. Me and my wife, we do a lot of charity work. We work with a lot of high risk youth kids. We do a lot of stuff. It's a lot of hands-on stuff with the community, and it takes a lot of time. If you know anything about professional fighters, you got to train day in and day out. If you're not training day in and day out and thinking about the sport day in and day out, somebody else is that's going to be facing you. And that kind of started making me feel very, I guess, insecure is a good word. Insecure that I'm doing this while somebody is probably just living and breathing martial arts right now, and while I'm doing Kata. And then I was like kind of half-assing both things, and my love for MMA was kind of disappearing because I was building like this anxiety that like I don't think I'm going to be ready for anybody that comes at me because I'm barely thinking about the sport right now. The only time I'm thinking about it is the 3 hours of training that I do. But if you know about martial arts, you got to think about this 24/7. Like as I'm sitting in here alone, I've narrated so many game plans, so many ways I want the fight to go. I'm just manifesting it. It got to a point where I never got that opportunity, never time to manifest things because there was just so much happening back home. And that's kind of where my wife had stepped in, and she was like, I'm going to take over this. First of all, the reason I came to Vegas was just to see if I even have the drive for it. I had to just get here alone and just kind of do it. And then there you go. Once I got in the mix of it, the love and the fire of it and that adrenaline to want to get back in there. And then that's why yesterday, I've actually signed the contract a little while ago. I just never announced it. I just felt like now I'm ready to announce it. I want to be sure of myself before I put it out there. I didn't just want to do it just for attention or something. I want to be sure of myself that, listen, like when you put this out there, there's an expectation of you and what you're representing, and be ready with what challenges are coming ahead of you. So yeah, so I wanted to be sure of myself before, and if I wasn't, I was never going to put it out there, and I was never going to fight. So I had to be really sure of myself first before I ever let anybody else know.
Is this fight coming up part of the flyweight Grand Prix, or is it if you win, you get into the flyweight Grand Prix? Because they've been doing that recently.
I can say that it's not part of the flyweight Grand Prix, but I'm telling you, I'll make a big enough an impression that if one of those guys get injured in that tournament, I will slip myself in. Then again, I'll go with whatever Chatri and them have planned for me. The India market is a huge market, and I'm somebody that's fought in India a bunch of times now, and I basically am just like anybody else from India. I've come up in that same normal way. I've taught to chase, become a lawyer, doctor, accountant, or whatever. And then at the age of 22, I decided not to do this and just kind of put my foot down and be like, listen, I want to live a dream. And somehow fighting found me, of all things. And from that's kind of where my story kind of connects with so many people, is that I wasn't some kid that was raised from birth to become this fighter or have some sort of wrestling background or some sort of athletic kid. I wasn't any of those things. I was just somebody that age of 22, when everybody was, even at the age of 22, was like, dude, you're too late, man. You have no martial arts background. It's way too late for you to be in this game. I'm like, watch. And here we are finally 10 years later, now the biggest promotion. And I'm glad it took as long as it did because of all the experience I've gained, the things I've learned about myself, the heart and mind, the heart and heart you have to be a fighter, and the ideas and the way your mind kind of comes up with things. You have to have experience to kind of go up to the level that I'm at now. So I'm glad it went the way it did. It all kind of comes together now. At times when I thought, why is this not coming together at all? At times when I was like, I don't want to do this no more. Now it makes sense. It always does make sense in the end. I've realized that almost with any obstacle I've faced.
You're one of the highest profile names representing India around the world. To sign with one, it's a big deal. Are you taking on an ambassador role for the promotion?
I will. I'll take an ambassador role. I've always represented whatever promotion, whether it was my past promotions that I was with Brave or whatever. I always consider myself an ambassador because ambassador is somebody that relates to the people, somebody that can represent the people and speak for the people. And because I am one of the people, I've always felt like I could do that. And I've never had any kind of negative feedback for that. Instead, I've had people say, thank you for representing us. Thank you for being our lion. Thank you. I love your story. Thank you for inspiring us. That's truly what an ambassador is. It's not somebody that's kind of at a royal place. It's somebody that came up with everybody else and just kind of now is remembering who they were and representing them. So I definitely will take on an ambassador role. I'm like, if you saw today, right after my announcement, Chaudhry put up a picture today of him with the Prime Minister of India, just letting him know that, listen, we had come there and we had met because this is all going to come together, right? That picture was taken before, but there's a reason he put it up today. And it's all going to come together, all the puzzles and pieces. I just got to do my part, work hard, stay focused, and deliver the results, and they'll do their part. You've seen the promotion. You've seen the move they've made. So I trust in them. I definitely trust them. I've watched it. We've watched it. We've seen what they've done. We've seen the funding they have. They take care of their fighters. My contract is amazing. For a fighter coming into a promotion like that, I didn't expect to get the contract I did, and I'm very happy with it.
Yeah, there is a lot of history to be made in the future in India, and I can see you doing that. You know, with the personality that you have and the story and the background that you have, you could be out there doing it and main event a first show, you know, in Mumbai or whatever city you would feel like going to.
Yeah, and we'll definitely do it. And I love that the whole app that they have, like anybody in the world can tune into the fight. Usually, like, you know, I always get people to stream in, but people always have a difficult time finding the stream here, there, and people got to pass around information. Now you download the app, and that's it. You can set up a notification reminder. So if you're living in North America, you can you can wake up, watch my fight, go back to sleep. If you're in India, you're in the middle of your job, go into the office, bathroom, sneak into a stall and watch my fight. Do what you got to do, right? So everybody, it's right in the palm of your hand, and that's the most beautiful thing because they know the pay-per-view model doesn't work over in Asia, and there's no point. There is going to be so many more eyes, considering that we all have phones in our back pockets, and you just download an app, and it's free, and you can watch all these fights. You can watch everybody from DJ to Sage to Eddie Alvarez to Grand Prix, my fight, Bibiano, everybody, just right there on your phone, and that's a really cool thing. It's a really cool thing that you don't have to find streams and jump on Reddit and find stuff like that. It's right there. It's right there. So that's going to be really cool. It's going to be really easy for all my family and all the fans and everybody that always asking, how do I watch it? Download that. It'll let you know what time I'm going to be fighting. That's the beauty of it. It's like a clock. So it's exciting.
All right, Gary. Thank you for your time, man. And I look forward to seeing you on a One Championship card real soon.
I just want to give a quick thank you to like Matt Hume, Chaudhry, and all those guys for giving me this opportunity, like seeing something in me, for Matt approaching me, going, listen, we want to bring you over, and just having those doors open and giving me this opportunity to come over and be that guy. And now I got to hold my end of the deal, and just everybody that stood by me through it all. It's been long years. People have fell off. People have jumped on. And just all my family and friends, everybody that's been messaging me. It's been crazy. I didn't expect I would get the reaction I did. I'm surprised how many people knew about one. Me being in the MMA scene, I'm expected to know about it, but I don't know how it is outside. But it's nuts, man. It's pretty crazy. A lot of investors knew about it. A lot of people knew about it. So it's a big thing. And Chaudhry and all of them are doing an amazing job of getting the name out there. And I'm hoping that one day they'll bring it to T-Mobile Arena in Vegas, man. I dream of that. I drive by T-Mobile every single day on the way to training. I'm like, if they do this North America thing proper too, who knows? They might bring a North American show, and my dream of fighting in Vegas might come true through one of all places. So I'm excited about it.